The Leo and Danny show.
Yeah.
Affirmative action, though. Austin, his blood's boiling, me just mentioning it. But I am generally for the concept.
Yeah. What is the concept?
The concept of affirmative action is that we white people did some bad stuff, especially to the blacks. That's what I'm going to focus on for this.
I agree.
In the past. And even if you say, oh, slavery was a long time ago, well, there was some bad civil rights stuff going on. If you look at a talk show anytime before the 1990s, everybody is fucking white. You watch a Friars Club roast, it's all white people. I like it when black people get ahead in society.
Mad Men was white for 5 seasons, and then they had a couple of black secretaries, season 6 and 7. But that's it.
Moving up, secretaries?
Yeah.
Wow. And I know there was the one busboy in the first episode.
There was a busboy, yeah.
But
the help every now and then.
I like it when black people are ascending in society. Like, I like that the coach for the Miami Dolphins right now, Brian Flores, is kicking ass. There was a guy I knew in San Francisco who was in tech, a black dude, and he had a Saturday program to get black kids in poor neighborhoods into computer science.
Nice.
And I just thought, dude, that's fucking rad.
I honestly think that your parents would be one of those parents that would maybe even adopt a black kid.
They might adopt a black kid.
Yeah.
But for everybody,
what if you had a huge cock? Would that make you uncomfortable around the house?
Yes, it would.
What if you had a bunk bed with the kid with the huge cock?
I would leave home with a stick and a hobo hanky tied around the stick. But for every story like that I like, and for every admirable person like the guy in San Francisco, Brian Flores, or my parents who, in your head, I guess, adopted a big dick black kid, there are affirmative action proponents. Like, there is this new series on Amazon Prime right now, Leo. I was trying to find the name of it today, couldn't find it. It's the Victorian court drama.
Oh, yeah, where the queen is black. I believe.
Yes. And I saw that with my girlfriend. I saw it in an ad on Amazon Prime this weekend, and I thought,
That's gross.
do they explain why all the prominent people in this Victorian court are black? Is that touched on, or is it just left unexplained in the series? I looked it up, and the first thing I found on Twitter about the series were a bunch of rich white 22-year-old college students tweeting at the director, "Fuck you, you racist. You only cast light-skinned dark people in your show." Those are the girls who I want to march up to, put a desert eagle up their twat, and pull the trigger. That's
Jesus, Danny. That is vicious. You could just maybe, I don't know, put them in a cage for a while, torture them a little bit, let them go so they learn their lesson.
okay.
You don't have to kill them.
Yeah, well, very dehumanizing. That is, I guess, more humane than shooting him in the cunt with a Desert Eagle, which is just a tremendously high caliber weapon. The damage it would do to a girl's reproductive system really can't be explained.
She might survive, miraculously, but she's not going to be worth much.
It's all in the angle of the bullet's trajectory, Leo.
Right.
You don't want it going up into the internal organs. But there has been a case of affirmative action recently that's really gotten my goat.
Oh, God. I love when Danny reads something on the news and wants to talk about it, because it's not often that you get a rise out of Danny. He's immune to most things.
There is, you don't have to pull anything up yet, Austin, or just maybe pull up a Google image of Amanda Gorman.
She hot?
Yeah, she's good looking. She is a 22-year-old black poet who was asked to perform or read. I'm not sure what you call it with poetry, because poetry sucks.
Wait, stop it. You're a poet. You're kind of a poet yourself. What do you mean?
Poetry sucks. Real poetry.
What's your favorite poet if you had to choose one? You don't even have Bukowski's has nice poems, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's true.
I know you're a big fan of Virginia Woolf.
No, that's not true at all. And she's not a poet, at least not to my knowledge. But this girl read at the White House. Then she gets picked up by a big modeling agency. Then she declares she's going to run for president. So all this stuff's happening, and I'm thinking, okay, hold your horses. You're 22, and I know anybody in any artistic endeavor, especially poetry and writing, unless your name is Arthur Rimbaud or John Keats, who are two great boy poets. Poetry and writing, and comedy for that matter, are things you can't be good at until you're older. How old is every mainstream, popular, rich comedian these days? Late 30s to 60s.
Yeah.
That's the sweet spot for comedy, is probably 40s and 50s, which is why I love this business. I feel like the best years are ahead of us.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Our podcast, when we're 50-year-old scumbags, it's going to be great, dude. Hopefully we're still fucking shady bastards and we don't get soft. Like Howard Stern got soft.
You might get murdered by a jealous husband. I'll still be kicking, though.
Why would you say that? I've always had nightmares about that. Why the fuck would you say that?
It happened to Robert Johnson, speaking of affirmative action.
I think that I could talk my way out of anything like that. I'm going to hold my hands up and I'm going to say something like, listen, buddy, you can do better. All right. This was fuck her. Let's go out and get some pussy right now. On me. Let's get the happy hour. 3rd Street. Got a great place, the Hudson. Let's go have a nice happy hour. They just opened it up again. Let's go have a couple drinks. We'll talk about this. He'll put his gun down. I'll go out there. I'll get him laid.
Well,
and we're good.
That's going to be the highest pressure wingman situation you've ever been in. Because
Seriously.
If last call rolls around this guy hasn't gotten his pee-pee touched.
Oh, well, I'm bringing in...
You're dead.
I'm bringing in Dino to blow him, and I'll pay him lots of money, but Dino will like it because he might be homosexual.
Here is where I really lost my shit with this poetess, Amanda Gorman. I saw an article. You might know, people. In 2014, I declared my allegiance to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the NFL football team.
So you claim. Were there any witnesses?
There are social media posts dating back quite a while, maybe not to 2014, though.
Nice.
I did that because I hated all the people I saw around me in San Francisco at the time who were jumping on the Golden State Warriors bandwagon, the Giants bandwagon, the San Francisco 49ers bandwagon. And I wanted to be the opposite. So I found the team at the bottom of the NFL standings, TB Buccaneers, declared my support. And because of that, I have taken a certain joy in watching them make it to the Super Bowl this year. With Tom Brady, who I think is should be a huge inspiration for everybody. Somebody like Dino would probably hate on Tom Brady.
Dino would say something like, "Oh God, he's an athlete. He's just not. He's not an advanced human like me. I'm into the future, computer and VR. He doesn't know anything about VR. I could get better."
Quarterback Dino. Also, Dino might like him because Brady had a Donald Trump hat in his locker.
Well, yeah, then he would have to because he was born in a very conservative household and he was fed this information.
Yeah, so Dino, that's the one thing he would like about Tom Brady. But I see this. Pull up the first article or pull up the first picture here, Austin. I saw this shit about Amanda Gorman. And to be fair, she didn't write it, but this is what I saw. Forget Tom Brady. Poet Amanda Gorman will tackle the Super Bowl. Forget Tom Brady.
Who wrote this?
An LA Times journalist. Forget the guy who is maybe the most inspirational figure in all of sports, who is an example of how to be a good man, a good father, a good husband, how to trample the fucking haters, leave them dead under your feet, and prove everybody wrong time and time again. Forget him. Let's look at a fucking 22-year-old who wrote some little ditty in his... This is how I know she sucks at poetry. This is how I know. Austin, pull up her Instagram. The next thing. You got it pulled up, Austin? Amanda Gorman will be first ever poet to perform during a Super Bowl. Wow, reads her caption. So humbled. Humbled. You know what the word humbled means, Leo?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
I'll go read it from the dictionary. I knew that dictionary was there on purpose.
Reading shit in the dictionary sucks, by the way. Why would you ever have a dictionary handy unless you're a dumbass like me when you can just yell at Siri?
Well, nowadays, yeah. But Eminem used to read the dictionary to get better at rhyming words and stuff.
Humble, not proud or haughty, not pretentious. Low, humble are synonyms that are listed. How the fuck does being asked to read at the biggest event, the biggest televised event ever? This is going to be the highest viewed Super Bowl probably of all time, maybe. Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes.
Bunch of people at home, COVID, yeah.
The future GOAT versus the current GOAT with COVID. You're right, Leo. So what this tells me, wow, so humbled. Oh, wow, this really feels like shit. They've really taken me down a notch, making me... She doesn't know what the word humbled means. We have a supposed wordsmith who cannot define humbled, and she's reading at halftime and at the fucking White House.
What would you say?
Or the Capitol.
What would you say if you were brought on to read a poem at the Super Bowl? What would your caption be?
Apparently, I'm a really good fucking poet. How about not humble at all? I feel like $1,000,000. I guess I'm better than all the other shitty, struggling poets wearing berets.
You would say that in the caption?
Yep.
Jesus. You would call out all other poets and tell them that they're whack?
I would tell them they're whack. In my poetry, I would call out various players at the Super Bowl who played shitty in the first half.
No, you wouldn't.
I would make modifications at halftime.
You would make you would call out the guys during the guys that were playing badly possibly get in their heads and cause another ripple in the NFL world? Because you've done it before.
Well, that's the baseball world I'm thinking of. But Aaron Donald is the one. Yeah, the shittiest player. Him and I had a beef. He plays for the LA Rams. He's a pass rusher. I've told him he's a pussy many times to his face and on the internet. And I think that's why the Rams aren't in the Super Bowl.
I believe you emptied a bowl of ramen noodles on his head, right?
Yeah, Leo's referring to an incident in Mr. Chow's Chinese here in Los Angeles. I walked right over to Aaron Donald's VIP booth. I grabbed his sweet and sour pork, and I capsized the bowl over his head. And to quote myself, when I told the story on an old podcast, I made him wear the meal like a World War I helmet for the rest of the evening.
Wow. The one Fan Jerry was wearing on this. Well, World War II. Never mind.
Yeah. Same concept, though.
Same concept.
And then lastly, so she's playing at the Super Bowl. She's a new top model. She's trying to run for president. She can't define the word humbled, which if you're a plumber or a carpenter and you're not good with defining words, that's A-okay with me. I'll still trust you to make my desk or to fix my leak. But if you're a fucking poet, you should have some facility with the language, don't you think, Leo?
I think so, but where was she educated? Maybe she's the new breed. Maybe humbled is the right. Maybe she picked the word humble for a reason.
Oh, yeah. The definitions of words change over time, Leo.
Sometimes.
Let's pull up the next picture because, yeah, she did go to Harvard, but I mean, we're talking about affirmative action right now, so I'm not overly impressed. But are you pulling up the third image, the Wikipedia? The middle third of her early life and education is a long, drawn-out explanation of her having a speech impediment. They try to make it into some Herculean accomplishment that she got through life not being able to pronounce R's quite right.
Really? Like Chinese people?
Sort of.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, actually, you're right, Leo.
Just like that. They fuck up R's all the time.
Yeah, she seems to be black to me, but perhaps she was raised in a Chinese household. You know you stink at your art when a third of your Wikipedia bio is about you having a speech impediment and you talking about overcoming it as if it's a handicap. As if it's a legitimate thing, like as if you're a natural Helen Keller, honey.
Well, how do you know this wasn't recently edited? Because if you looked at my Wikipedia last week, somebody wrote that I was a homosexual. Probably because of you.
On your Wikipedia?
Oh, yeah.